the mistakes that we've done in the past. I also want to mention our support for tree canopy preservation and protections, in particular in Seattle and Magnolia by Ursula Judkins Viewpoint, by Kubota Gardens, and at Solaris. We believe that we can have a dense, thriving city and also preserve trees. We think that the urban village analysis doesn't address this, but it would be great to see how our urban village strategies contributed to the loss of beautiful mature trees in our residential zones, the majority of our cities where we can't build apartments. So these issues are connected. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Laura. Up next, we have Joshua Morris, followed by Steve Zemke, Brittany Bush-Bolay. The speakers listed as not present are still not present. Please do call in now. Good morning, Joshua.
Hi, I'm Joshua Morris, providing comment on behalf of Seattle Audubon regarding tree protection. On the first morning of the heat wave, a reporter called us to ask about the impact of extreme heat on birds. I told her that birds would likely be fine, that they are able to cool down even at temperatures that are dangerous for humans. The next day, I learned of a mass mortality event at a Caspian tern colony in the industrial district. The terns were nesting on the roof of a building. There was no shade, just unrelenting heat exacerbated by the dark surface of the roof. Many chicks perished outright. Many others were killed or injured after jumping from the roof. One report indicates that more than 100 chicks died. The heat disproportionately impacted the most vulnerable birds, just as it does our most vulnerable human communities. The worst is yet to come. Trees are one of the cheapest, simplest, and most effective tools for reducing temperatures in urban areas. Yet the city is failing to protect them, and timelines for improved tree protection delayed. Today I see the can kicked further down the road. I urge the council to treat this as the climate and justice emergency it is and act urgently to protect the trees now. Thank you.
Thank you, Joshua. Up next is Steve Zemke, followed by Brittany Bush-Bolay. Martha Baskin, you're not present. Following Martha is Woody Wheeler. Good morning, Steve.
My name is Steve Zemke, representing Tree Pack. So the city has put off now for 12 years updating the tree protection ordinance. The climate crisis is upon us, and we need to protect the health of our communities and people by increasing protection for existing trees and planting more trees. We need to act now to update tree canopy in Seattle's low-income and formerly red-lined areas most susceptible to urban heat impacts. We need to update the 2008 Exceptional Tree Directors Rule as recommended by the Urban Forestry Commission. It's not on today's agenda, which is surprising. It's not mentioned. We need to move the 30% tree canopy goal ahead to 2030. We can't wait till 2037. We need to look at increasing it to 40% by 2040. We also need to move tree protection on private property to an urban forestry division in an independent Department of Sustainability and Environment. Again, act now. The climate crisis is upon us. We can't keep waiting and waiting years and years. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve. Up next is Brittany Bush-Bolay, followed by Woody Wheeler, and then Richard Ellison. I'm seeing Martha Baskin, Jessica Dixon, Stuart Needham, Janet Way, Patience Malaba, Jessica Clausen, Emily Furman, Rachel Mazur, and Jessica Dixon not present. Brittany Bush-Bolay, good morning.
Good morning, council members. My name is Brittany Bush-Bolay. I'm calling on behalf of Sierra Club Seattle Group. I just want to quickly thank OPCD for releasing the report that will be discussed today, and to thank Councilmember Skata and everyone else who's been a real champion of this for a long time now. It's clear that when we go with the next round of comprehensive plan updates, we're going to need a very thoughtful and thorough examination of our growth strategy, and the information in this report will help make sure that we're looking forward to the future and building a Seattle that's healthy and equitable for people as well as for the planet. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And I'll note that Councilmember Lewis joined us a little while ago. He has been present here. I have seen that Jessica Dixon and Jessica Clausen have signed up for public comment again. At this time, you just need to call in. IT, I might have you provide instructions in just a minute if we continue to have people having trouble. So up next is Woody Wheeler, followed by Richard Ellison and Colleen McClear. Woody, good morning.
Hi, this is Woody Wheeler. I'm calling about the tree ordinance. On June 29th, 2021, the temperature in Seattle reached 108 degrees, an all-time record, following 3 consecutive days of 100-degree plus heat. At least 78 people died from excessive heat in our state. Heat waves are how climate change kills us today, said Frederick Otto of the Environmental Change Institute at Oxford University. The National Geographic had an issue on this, and they found that a recent study showed that neighborhoods with dense tree canopy and parks and other open spaces averaged about 5 degrees cooler than neighborhoods without those attributes in the very same cities. An urban canopy can help cool a city. A city's tree canopy can be considered infrastructure, much like a sewer system or street grid. A developed canopy can mitigate the urban heat island effect, in which pavement and buildings trap and raise temperatures well above those found in natural areas. In the meantime, our trees are getting cut down, our canopies diminishing, people are dying, especially in hotter neighborhoods that tend to be lower income areas where people of color form a larger share of the population. How can we address climate change and support environmental justice at the same time? By passing Seattle's long overdue revised tree ordinance. Thank you.
Thank you, Woody. Up next, we have Richard Ellison, followed by Colleen McClear, and then Suzanne Grant. Good morning, Richard. I see you there, Richard. You gotta press *6, not #6. There you are.
Hello, my name is Richard Ellison. I live in the Wedgwood community. I'm talking about the tree ordinance and the lack of it being taken care of. Going on a carbon diet plan may reduce our emissions, but it will not prepare us for the climate chaos impacts of record hot days, extensive droughts, smoke impacts from regional fires. Satellites suffering from 108-degree heat exhaustion compounded by the urban island heat effect do not find any physical relief by a program reducing carbon auto emissions. The heat and choking smokes from regional fires causing respiratory distress in asthmatics and the elderly will not be relieved by any number of zero-emission public transportation systems. Mayoral candidates throwing themselves at the greatest zero-carbon emissions programs are great sound bites and they help globally, but don't make Seattle's heat exhaustion go away or clear the smoky air or make the rain again in an extended drought. If your teeth are in pain, you need a dentist, not a diet plan. If you are drowning in a river, you need a boat. Seattle has no climate change impact plan, only on a carbon diet plan. Mitigation is not hiding in air-conditioned homes or libraries. Mitigation is resting under shade trees that absorb carbon. Mitigation are trees blocking the sun and making shade on a home or an apartment window. If you convert all the single-family homes.
Thank you, Richard. And if you have more comments that you'd like to send in to us, please do so. Up next, we have Colleen McClear, followed by Suzanne Grant, and then Jason Rock. Colleen, good morning.
Good morning, City Council. This is Colleen McAleer, and I'm here to address the Seattle tree ordinance and also Yesler Terrace development in relationship to trees. As other speakers have noted, the climate change is real, and for 12 years, we've dragged through reports, but we've not made any progress on a much more significant tree ordinance protection for our city. And the time is now. It should not get rolled to get into budgets and forgotten about till next year. The experts have said that trees can lower the temperatures in city neighborhoods by 10 life-saving degrees, and we have needed that, as other members have also noted with the climate change. And temperatures, 108 degrees in Seattle, Portland as well too. Investing in trees is the same as infrastructure, according to Professor Brad Stone from Georgia Tech. And also, the mayor of even Des Moines, Iowa, says the value of trees filter out pollutants, suck up water, and store carbon. So most importantly now with the Yesler Terrace proposal, it's so important that we do not allow payment in lieu. It's a poor substitute for retaining the existing and mature trees and exceptional trees in that neighborhood. So we have further comments that we have submitted in agreeing with TreePack and their recommendations for a separate entity, the Urban Forestry Division, to take on the private lands and the evaluation of tree retention. And also, we also agree with them.
Thank you, Colleen, and please do send in any more comments that you'd like to our office. Up next, we have Suzanne Grant, Jason Rock, followed by June Blue Spruce. Suzanne, great to have emailed with you to understand that today is the tree report. Suzanne, good morning.
Hello, council members. I support the long overdue, I'm Suzanne Grant, and I support the long overdue update of our city's tree protection ordinance. But due to your delay, you, the council members, SDCI and OSD, are responsible for the deaths from heat stroke that recently have taken place. You heard from a comment this morning detailing recent articles about excessive heat, which you must have seen have appeared in National Geographic, New York Times, Seattle Times. Their loss is especially unfair to communities of color. Why is SDCI discriminating against them? Yesler Terrace is in the downtown core and suffer unfairly from the heat island effect. Why is there language in CB 120-108, quote, that allows removal of exceptional trees where grading or construction preclude tree retention, unquote? Remove this exception. The tree canopy potential will take years that the people of Yesler Terrace do not have to wait for life-saving benefits provided by trees. Demand more creative solutions from your builders. We can't wait until the end of the year for another quarterly report telling us that another 730 trees, including 65 exceptional trees, are gone. Call for a moratorium on the cutting of exceptional trees. We need the trees now. You are to blame for more deaths due to your delay.
Thank you, Suzanne. Up next, we have Jason Rock, followed by June Blue Spruce, and then James Davis. Good morning, Jason.
Hi, good morning. Thank you, council members. My name's Jason. I live in Columbia City and I'm a renter. I'm speaking today to thank Councilmember Mosqueda for asking for this study, the racial justice study, and OPCD for finally releasing a report. I think this study speaks to a lot of us because it lays bare a disconnect between our city's ideals and our policies. As we begin the discussion of what the next comprehensive plan policy will look like, it's important that we understand why and how our current growth strategy has failed to make sure that the next one actually lives up to our ideals by making housing affordable and accessible for everyone. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Jason. Up next, we have June Blue Spruce, followed by James Davis, and then Judith Bendich. Good morning, June.
Hello, this is June Blue Spruce. I'm speaking about the tree updates. On June 29th, streets in my neighborhood in Southeast Seattle buckled in the heat. Trees are a critical part of Seattle's climate change mitigation infrastructure. New data showed that in King County last summer, temperatures in the warmest and coolest locations differed by more than 23 degrees. And as we know, the people most affected by heat islands are communities of color and areas with the highest environmental health disparities. Unfortunately, heat and drought are deadly to trees as well. Western red cedars are dying in increasing numbers. Sooty bark disease is killing off Seattle street trees. And yet developers and homeowners continue to cut down large numbers of mature trees in tree groves. We can't afford to lose trees at this pace. You all must act. Trees are our climate change vaccine. Don't throw them away. Thank you.
Thank you, June. Up next, we have James Davis, followed by Judith Bendich, and then Scott Novotny. I still see Martha Baskin, Jessica Dixon, Stuart Neven, Janet Way, Patience Mawaba, and Emily Crummy not present. If you would like to call in, now is the time. James, good morning. I see you there. You press *6, not pound 6. There you are.
Hi. Good morning, council members. My name is Jim Davis. I live in District 7. I'm one of the more than 50 people that came to the Ursula Judkins Park overlooking the Inner Bay area to protest the cutting down of 36 trees in a landslide zone right below the park to build 2 luxury mansions, a 13-car garage, and a lap pool. We could not figure out how this could get approved and discovered the loophole of Seattle Municipal Code 25.09.29.a. Basically, if a building site existed before October 31st, 1992, no rules apply for development in steep slope hazard areas. This means that few of our trees in these areas are safe, because steep slopes are one of the traditional havens for our large trees. I would urge the council to take action to close this loophole and not wait for the larger tree ordinance developments to close it. Thank you.
Thank you, James. Up next, we have Judith Bendich, Scott Novotny, followed by David Morning. Good morning, Judith. I see you there. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. This is Judith Bendich. I live in Seattle. I've written many, many letters about trees, so I won't repeat those. My major word today is moratorium. Moratorium, moratorium on any further cutting of exceptional trees that needs to be enacted now. And on tree groves. That needs to be enacted now. The only legislation, while that moratorium is in effect, that I think you should take under consideration and pass is to make the definition of exceptional trees the same one that was used by our speaker from Portland, who came in December of 1919. And it's been that long since you've had a presentation on a comprehensive plan and nothing's been done. The second issue I wanted to talk about was racial equity. I also think a moratorium should exist there. The moratorium should be on any further projects and development in poor neighborhoods that are listed in, that you know about, where there's been displacement. The racial equity report states this. It needs to stop now because there's only going to be more displacement and more homeless if this continues. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Judith. Up next, we have Scott Novotny, followed by David Mooring and Rachel Mazur. Scott, good morning. IT, I don't see Scott promoted yet.
Scott is no longer present.
Oh. Up next is David Mooring, followed by Rachel Mazur, and then Chris Lehman. David, good morning. I see you there, David. There you are.
Oh, hi, this is David Mooring from ShootPack. Thank you for the ability to comment, and I have reviewed the presentation that will be presented on tree protection. And wanted to bring to everyone's attention that I think that there is some deceiving numbers. That being slide 10 shows only 731 tree removals out of 747 permits. The reason why that is suspect is one, anyone who observes a construction site will see that there's typically more than one tree per property being removed. And two, if you look at the raw data that some of us have seen, we've seen an average of closer to 11 trees per permit being removed, which would equate to more like 8,000 trees in the city of Seattle during this time period being removed versus just 731. This is very important, but nevertheless, we do hope that the Department of Construction will work with the Seattle Urban Forestry Commission on a lead-based plan, and that they also include street trees, parks.
Thank you.
And take a look as well.
If you can send any additional comments, and happy to have receive those by email and speak further. Up next, we have Jessica Clausen, followed by Rachel Mazur and Chris Lehman. Jessica, good morning. I see you. There you are. Good morning.
Can you all hear me? I wanted to speak during the comprehensive plan public hearing.
Great. We'll have you moved over there. Thank you, Jessica. Up next, we have Rachel Mazur, followed by Chris Lehman. I think that will be it.
Councilmember, a number of these public commenters are signed up for the public hearing.
Okay. Do we have any further public commenters for?
I believe Chris Lehman is the final commenter for the
wonderful
public comment.
Great. Chris, good morning. I see you there, Chris. You'll need to press *6, not #6. Chris, I see you there, but you'll need to press *6. All right, Chris, we're not seeing you coming off mute. you need to press *6. I'll give you one more time, and then we're going to move on to the next agenda item. Chris Lehman, one last time. If you could press *6 to unmute yourself, we'll happily take your comments.
Hello?
Oh, there we are, Chris. Good morning.
Yes.
Take it away.
Yes. Okay, so I signed up to speak in the both hearings, the public comment period and in the hearing. And so for some reason the Zoom said goodbye and hung up on me before I was allowed to speak in the hearing. So, I mean, in the public comment period. So can I make my public comment before the hearing starts?
This is on trees, right? Or this is on
right.
the committee agenda right now. Mr. Ahn, would you restart the time? Chris, we're doing 1 minute right now, and then we're going to move to the comprehensive plan.
Okay.
Great.
Ready?
Take it away.
Okay. This is just, I'm speaking in support of all the other comments about the importance of the tree ordinance. But those in the room, I want to urge you to remain and to testify in favor of the tree-related comprehensive plan amendment that I proposed. It's a reminder that the tree ordinance is very important, but so is the zoning ordinance. And the zoning ordinance has the setbacks that are inadequate for any large trees in multifamily areas. And the proposal which the city council needs to advance for docketing for study will study looking at improving the comprehensive plan policy regarding that. Otherwise, you know, all of the pluses of trees that the tree ordinance may advocate would not be present because the ordinance would trump them.
Thank you, Chris. And we do now have a few other people who have come back present. Martha Baskin, Stuart Negan, and then IT and clerk can confirm that is all public registrants for public comment. So, Martha, please take it away. Good morning.
Yes. Good morning, Martha Baskin. Can you hear me?
We can. Good morning.
All right. Good morning to all. Much of this has already been said, but I'll just take my less than 2 minutes. Just like we can't fight the climate crisis while continuing to expand fossil fuel extraction, we can't fight it in cities by cutting down mature trees. During a crisis, you need all the allies you can get, and trees are natural allies. As trees grow, they help absorb carbon from the atmosphere, using it as food. Eventually, when the tree dies or is cut down, the carbon it's been storing is released into the atmosphere. The recent heat wave and reporting on how the lack of mature trees impacts marginalized communities should spur the city to action. But it's been an uphill fight. At a time of rapid development, trees are often cut designs to be altered to retain them. Do these urban clear cuts at least result in affordable housing? No. As any tree lover or housing observer knows, the loss results in houses with a mean asking price of $765,000. The city's last tree protection ordinance was written in 2009. Since then, Seattle Audubon estimates as many as 1,200 acres of canopy have been lost to development. Since the benefits of trees extends beyond the parcels where they stand, this is unacceptable, especially in neighborhoods where the lack of canopy already threatens climate resiliency, environmental equity, and public health. Trees are community assets, climate and public health assets, just like bridges and roads. They're vital infrastructure.
Thank you, Martha. Up next, we have Stuart Negan, and then if IT can confirm that we only have the next bullet point. Morning, Stuart.
Good morning, Councilmember Strife and other council members present. Hopefully you can hear me.
Yes, we can.
Excellent. I'll be as quick as I can. I know that you've heard many reasons to update the tree protection ordinance, so I won't repeat them. But I will add something that I feel is probably a significant issue that is rarely acknowledged, and maybe yourself, your colleagues, and potentially the majority of Seattle residents don't realize, is the fact that as things stand with the current tree ordinance and wider building and development ordinance, the developers in Seattle currently have more property rights than regular property owners. I guess to give an example, currently as things stand, you might have two identical adjacent properties, both on which you have 100-year-old house, maybe 100-year-old healthy Douglas fir trees, all exceptional. One property owner has lived there for 20 years. They can't cut down any trees. A developer buys the adjacent property and can cut them all down if they claim that the development potential of the lot.
Thank you for your comments, and please do feel free to email us and speak in the future as well. I'm seeing, is Emily Furman signed up for public comment or the public hearing?
Hi, actually this is my first time signing up, so thank you for your patience. I was public comment around the tree canopy matter.
Wonderful, take it away.
So my name is Emily Furman, and I live at the North Seattle, an area called Pinehurst, which really, if you drive into it, you can experience the feeling of an urban forest. I live in my a property that I do have a responsibility for as an owner, and we have 4 maples that cover our property and keep it cool. And during this heat wave, that was very important. And in looking at the heat wave and its impact on Seattle, I started looking deeper into climate change and looking at the UN report in 2019 that says in about 11 years, we may have a major challenge in rolling back the impacts of climate change. And that, I'm so sorry, but my son will be 18 at that time. And it is very important that we preserve what we have in Seattle, a quality of life. So I hope, council members, that you take that seriously into consideration. And I would say our trees, like June Blue Spruce said earlier, are a vaccination for our community against climate change. And we can be creative. We can be creative. We live in a space that's 1,100 square feet. We rent out our bottom floor to low-income housing rates so that we can share our abundance. And we can share our abundance as a city. Thank you.
Appreciate your comment, and we have Jessica Dixon, who has become present. Jessica, please take it away.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
You can. Good morning.
Great. Oh, hi. My name is Jessica Dixon. I'm speaking today as a member of the Plan Amnesty Board and the Last 6,000. 2 weeks ago, as people have commented, we suffered an excessive heat wave here in Seattle. At least 25 people are documented to have died in King County. And also a recent Times article, Heat Inequality in King County, describes the maps and analysis revealing our county's heat islands. The analysis found that industrial areas and places with dense building concentrated heat while tree canopy mitigated warmth. And yet our city planners, and specifically SDCI, ignore the data showing that urban trees are critical in the mitigation of the heat island effect and continue to allow development and the ensuing removal of significant tree canopy and understory in our city, especially on our environmentally critical areas. City planners, I am submitting comments documenting 2 sites, one in South Seattle in a riparian ECA and one in North Seattle in a steep slope ECA. I'm asking why the city is not walking the talk when it comes to combating climate change, and why one of our last havens for large trees, which confer so many benefits to the public, our ECAs, are not being protected by our city. Thank you.
And we do now have patients Malaba present. We have Janet Way and Scott Novotny not present, and that will conclude our list here. Good morning, patients.
Hello, can you hear me?
We can. Good morning.
Thank you, Chester. I am Patience Malaba with the Housing Development Consortium of Seattle King County. I want to express my gratitude to OPCD for the release of the long-awaited Growth Strategy Racial Equity Toolkit report and the Community Engagement report. Special thanks to Councilmember Mosqueda for requesting the study and continuing to advocate for the release of this report. The reports are insightful, illuminating, and quite frankly confirm what we already know and have been saying for some time. The urban village growth strategy has been perpetuating a historical pattern of exclusionary zoning. The political and protectionist language of single-family home ownership that shaped the urban village growth strategy was baked into our comprehensive plan iterations and has devastating impact on BIPOC communities. And I think recognizing the impact is the first step, and building a new vision for the city is going to be one where we can deliver systemic change and racial equity. So thank you for your leadership on this work, and look forward to partnering with you on advancing a comprehensive plan update that delivers equitable growth. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Patience. Janet Way, Scott Novotny, last call. IT, can you confirm that they are not present?
They are not present.
Thank you. Seeing as we have no additional speakers remotely present, we will move on to the next agenda item. Our first, I will take our first agenda item in order on the agenda, which is the comprehensive plan briefing and public hearing. Colleagues, I'll ask you to keep your questions and comments to the end of the presentation, and please, at this time, limit your questions and comments unless it is